like our every episode, this episode is also an unprepared episode. It is a casual conversation without a prefixed agenda. And I'm talking to a wonderful personality who is very huge in media, academics, creative designs, and many areas. And he is a wonderful human being. We met first 20 years back, and we continue to be connected and knowing each other, talking each other, sharing thoughts, ideas, and more than that, he is a great inspiration for me. I love to call him Professor Shajan C. Kumar than being editor or head of the department. He is now with the Madhubhumi, and he is responsible for the editorial facts and data management, and that is a huge thing in the present and the future media is more worried about what is coming in the media, whether it is factual or it is fake, and more than 50% comes fake news, and fake news look more factual than real news today. So the editor's task is very tough. Sir, our conversation is very casual, so please start talking something which is top in your mind now.
Thank you, Mr. Paulos. It's been very happy times interacting with you all these days, some 20 plus years. And then whenever we talk about some certain things which are lively and have to be done in a proper way. I remember conversations on media. It's not just media, but anything that comes under the sun is being discussed when we meet and like conversations that we had. Today, I think I would like to talk about, say, how the fact-checking is becoming an important aspect of journalism in India. Because when we look around, we find a lot of information that is spread, like fake news through every channels for that matter. It's not just restricted to the mainstream, but also to the, say, social media platforms and all. And very keen eye on fact-checking is important these days. If you want to really understand what is going around and safeguard yourself from the fake news that is spreading, and it's spreading like wildfire. So we at Mathrubhumi, we are trying our level best to give the right kind of information on our channels. That has been a priority for us. We also look at social media fact checking, wherein some information which is being passed on to us from our readers to fact check. We look at that also. Our team have done more than 400 plus stories on that particular area. And in some cases, like certainly with all these precautions also, in our media also, certain times some fake information's creeping. So what we do is that we look at that and realize if that is a fake thing, we put it down. And we have also apologized for that thing, which should not be happening in the media industry. But it's a human error. Sometimes it creeps in. But when we realize it, we just put it down and say that, sorry, we inadvertently have done it. So let's make this correction and say that this is the fact. So that's what is happening these days. The other part is doing data journalism, which is now in focus for every media industry. More data-oriented stories are coming up so that the authenticity of the story is being built up, and we are giving the right perspective to the news for that matter. Even in the government sector also, there are a lot of data which has been shared but not being used properly by journalists. So we are looking at those data which are available on, say, the public domain, and then disseminating or, say, analyzing it for the common man. In a way, it's slightly tough, but we are working on it.
I think US is one of the initial medias who is started creating a department on fact checking and data management. Otherwise, the media may not have that kind of a approach. Maybe there may be generally awareness, but there is a separate department to have fact checking. Maybe Madhubhumi could be one of the first newspapers to have such a division, I suppose.
Yes, we started a year ago this particular department. Initially, we were looking at people who can do this work from the media itself, but we couldn't find people who have been trained to do this kind of work in around in South India, basically. So it was a tough task for me to set up this department. Um, it was the first time any organization might have had trained people. We trained these people who are with me right now at the Madhubhumi Media School. So initially, I thought I will call for people who can join us for this course, and then I'll select 5 of them. So we put up an advertisement in Madhubhumi daily, and I must say this, it was a surprise to me also. We got 125 people joining this course. So I was in a dilemma of how to handle this because it's 125 people together handling it will be difficult. So we divided them into like weekly, say weekdays course and weekend course kind of a thing. Divided them into 68 and some the others in the other section. So it was a huge demand at that point of time, and out of this 125 people, 40 were keen to apply for this job, and we took interviews and then narrowed down to 5 people to join us. I mean, like that network is still there, and many of our works, if we need any help, there are people who have joined in those schools from Dubai, Italy, some places in US and Canada also. So whenever we have something to be fact checked, we use this network also, asking their help to give some support on fact checking. So now it is being somehow managed, and we are running a wonderful team of 5 people, 5 youngsters with technical knowledge base on fact checking. And to be very frank, I'm really happy with the team, and they're doing very good.
Sir, this, if you analyze the fake news, the fact-checking requirement, say 10 years back, the situation was not as this much difficult, no?
Yeah, it was. It could be that awareness thing these days, because people have now come to know that there is something spreading which is fake. So, and again, the online media, like the internet, has speeden up this thing also, and we need to have some knowledge, technical knowledge on, say, finding the facts. So, Google reverse image searches, InVid, these kind of tools, digital forensic for that matter. And if you have a video or audio which is to be fact checked, it is slightly difficult also. So we go beyond the reverse image searches. We go to, say, digital forensics for that, and then find out the true thing that is to be shown to the public. So that something like people are also aware that there is this fake news spreading. So this awareness was not there 10 years back. So we were somehow managing it in a way, but now people have started realizing that the fake news is spreading. So we need to be very careful.
That means there is some fake news producing factories in our country and abroad or everywhere. What could be the purpose of such a fake news, large scale fake news done by professionals?
It's basically like 3 segments of fake production is happening. Like one is like it's disinformation. It's just happening like that without any purpose in that. There is malinformation, wherein it is, say, something that purposefully being created. All these segments are creating a sense of, say, there is somebody who is behind it and who is going to narrate the story in a different way, the way they wanted to be understood by the readers. So this is where we all think that there are factories being run for this. and it could be true also. And if you have an interest, a corporate interest or a political interest, you may be creating certain disinformation, malinformation, and that is going to be part of uh, the mainstream media also. In that sense, it is spreading to that.
I made a lot of effort to understand what could be the interest of these people. And I applied common sense in simple method, and I came to some understanding. So the fake news for me, one is to divert attention from important areas where somebody wanted to take advantage of those areas. They don't want people to get attention, get into those areas. The attention of the people don't want to get into those areas. Other one is to divert people into unwanted segments so that they are totally disoriented, and these things all will happen the way people want. Other one is a pure advertisement method, creating a confusion and divert people into where they want, drive people into where they want to reach. That is a consumer focused thing. Overall, it is not allowing people to think on their own. It is directing people to think in the way it is guided, or not guided, it is misguided, and taking people away from the way they are supposed to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what the agenda of the people who are creating it. They, as you said, they want to divert the attention of people to kind of narratives they want to build up, and that is part of when elections come. These kind of fake informations are spread across. If there is something which is very pertinent and in news, and people are looking at it very carefully and observing it. So another team of people will be thinking like, no, we need to divert the attention. So they create something and then they put up there. And the attentions, I mean, human attention span is also like that. You know, once people are attracted to certain things, and after an hour, they move to another. Say it's people used to say that say it's only 20 minutes attention span for a newspaper for that matter. Early morning we read and we just forget. But now digital media is 24/7. So it's slightly more difficult to handle the digital media misinformations, disinformations, and malinformation spreading. The attention has to be there 24/7. When you are sleeping, somebody is creating misinformation or disinformation, or malinformation, and it is spread the time where you were sleeping. Tomorrow morning, it is you seeing it and thinking like how far it is being spread. It's like a wildfire. It is being spread. So stopping that is an important thing for us as fact checkers.
I always thought there will be some masterminds behind this, but I realized later there is no masterminds behind this. There are only crooked minds, and the crooked minds cannot be masterminds. Their thinking will be very narrow. I'll tell you a certain interest in Mangalore. One area, all of a sudden, the road started to be widened. Like a national highway, a huge road is being created. And it took some 1 year time for the process. They demolished all the walls and they created new walls there. So the people also were happy. The land which they are leaving, they are getting the money. And at the cost of the government, they got the walls also repaired. I thought, why this not so very important road becoming this wide, like a center of the city? And there could be some, what could be the interest? I started thinking. So then I understood that these people cannot be broad-minded. They has to be narrow-minded. A corrupt person cannot be broad-minded. That is by conviction. A corrupt person cannot be broad-minded. That person will be narrow-minded. Their interest will be very tiny, and it's some greed and something. So I realized their idea was for the roadside shops. Roadside shops. So as I told, after a year, I told my wife this is going to happen. And after a year, it has happened everywhere. So many roadside shops were created. And each shop, it seems, should pay a monthly rent of 10,000 rupees for the parallel government, which is run by the groups, no? And the share will go to police, the share will go to everybody. So everybody get their share. When it is collective, it is big money. So everybody will keep quiet. So Dr. Anand Bose's book, he narrates one situation. Brother-in-law of chief minister is coming and shouting at him the village officer taken bribe from him. And I told I am brother-in-law of the chief minister, but he did not listen. He took money from me. And if you are the chief minister here and if I need to pay bribe, then what will be the condition of the other people? So the chief minister did not tell anything. He went inside, came back with some money and given to him that. This is my share in that particular thing. I am giving you back. Rest of the thing, I am not responsible. That is the system. It is written in Dr. Bose' book. It is true. This is how things are happening. The system is corrupt, not individuals. Individuals are helpless. Say a good officer, if he is not taking bribe, then he will be caught. I'll cite one more example. There was one TTE who is personally known to me. He was not interested in taking bribes or giving ticket that way. So he was anybody asking for the ticket, if there is a seat free, he used to issue. So the vigilance department told our share we should get. Whether you take money or not, we should get our share. He told, when I am not taking, how will I pass your share? No, that is your headache. We are not responsible for that. And he refused to subscribe to their demand. One day, two police people came in Mufti. They got into the train at one station and then they took two tickets. They were berth vacant, so he issued. So both of them paid 200 rupees. Some 35 rupees, something was remaining, which he was about to take. And by the time the way they were settling their luggages, they got engaged into the activity. They did not take money from him. And then he went further doing and he came back with the money. By the time the next station came, the vigilance squad entered. They took hold of his bag and checked and they found some 64 rupees excess in that. Instantly he was suspended and he struggled more than 5 years in his career. This is how the system trapped people into corruption. So innocents are trapped into. So when we hear a news that this man is caught as a corrupt, he may be an innocent person who is trapped into the system like that. Very difficult to understand. But even then, there are good people also everywhere. So goodness is also parallelly progressing. So how do you look at the situation of media today from your long years of experience?
Actually, media is growing in that sense. From the print alone media, mainstream media, it has now moved into television, it has moved into online, it is moved into, say, FM channels. Maybe in another 5 years, the FM channels will also start giving news. That's going to anyway happen. And a lot of other things also. Metaverse is coming to media. A lot of things which journalists were doing as a repetitive thing is now going to be mechanized in that sense. And if you look at channels which run augmented reality, virtual reality to their news items, and maybe there could be one scope of having another, the fifth, say, media vertically for that matter, which will be focusing on metaverse, wherein you experience the news. That is the next thing which another 5-10 years I anticipate that it could happen, wherein people, another generation of people will be in this news consumer category, wherein they would love to experience the news. Like some were, say, in Kerala now, a lot of people are, say, blocking the chief minister when he is traveling. So if you are, say, narrating that news, there is a possibility of one person sitting at home, getting into that crowd, and he is being part of that, say, group or the public, and he experiences how hot the sun is in Kerala now, how is the people throwing the stones or putting up black shirts or kind of a thing which is happening in a way that he is experiencing that news. I am anticipating that it is going to come up very soon in India too.
Yes, it's a real news situation like reality shows, getting real experience. Before concluding, I will tell you, sir, what is happening. One basic thing is we are going away from the foundation, the fundamentals of media. To me, the foundation fundamental of media is to tell people something good happening at somewhere so that this can be replicated at elsewhere. And if there is something wrong happening somewhere, to bring it to the people who are responsible to take measures about that. These are the two fundamental need of a media, to my understanding.
Absolutely.
Every media is moving away from these two things, and they are getting into kind of new things, diverting from the foundations is what I can tell you, sir. So please give me a concluding message.
I would like people who are coming to journalism, for that matter, be very, very courageous, one. And two is that you need to be very clear about what is happening around. So your knowledge base has to be, it should be perfectly fit to understand things in a better perspective. And all of you should have a lot of, patience in that sense. So courage, say concentrated effort to get knowledge, and be patient. If you have all these three things, I think the journalism, for that matter, is going to improve. And people who are coming to this particular job, I just say that all the best, and we are all here to help you out. Paul is always been interested in helping the new generation journalists. So we are all here to help you out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Tell me something about your background picture today.
This is something which I've created on artificial intelligence based technique, wherein I was just typing in Soro in this particular app, and I just suggested some images which I had in my stock, and it automatically created this image wherein you can see that it looks like somebody is crying.
This is a creativity, sir. I remember you are creative designing and giving total new shape for Indian Express newspaper in those days, and that creativity comes from your heart. Thank you very much, sir. We will have one more episode, further so many episodes as the days come, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Wish you all the best.